Hi everyone, it's Rederawl again, and we're now at halfway point with Game of Thrones, and it did exactly what I was hoping it was going to do in this episode, and the action really picked up. It's gotten really crazy now, and there's a lot to get through, so let's get started. Okay, so this episode starts out in the Wall again, for the third week in a row. Not sure if that's meaning anything particular in this season, but it's showing how Sansa's adjusting to living at the Wall at the moment, and she gets a letter from Littlefinger and meets him at a mole's town, and this is where she really shows how much hatred she has for him for what he did. She was at the point of nearly killing him off in this part because of that. She was just that angry with him, and he was saying sorry, it was a mistake and everything, and that if she wanted to kill him, she can, and it was just a bit really tense. You didn't really know how it was going to end, and Bran was by her side, so you did know that he could very easily have gotten killed off at this point in time, but he didn't. He skates through as usual. But these scenes at the Wall also really show how Sansa's a lot more like her mum. She's a lot more mature, a lot more grown up. She's fighting back quite a lot now compared to how she was, particularly in season 1. She was like a really little kid pretty much, which she was in general, but now she's grown up a lot more. It shows how much she just wants to kill everyone pretty much. And another thing to point out in these scenes up at the Wall is that it shows Jon in Winterfell armor, so it's really showing how he's broken out of the Wall pretty much. Like, he's just not, it shows how he's no longer part of the Night's Watch and how he's just leaving it behind. He eventually does leave with Sansa to go to Riverrun because of that. They've taken it back again, and that they will definitely ally Sansa to take back Winterfell, and that they are going to try and get there and put them in their army as well to try and take back Winterfell. And now on to Arya, and she's still at the House of Black and White and learning how to fight back and everything like that, but she gets another second chance from the, I'm just going to call him the mentor, I'm not really sure what he actually is, like the guy in the white robe that has been teaching her everything, and he gives her another chance to be part of the Faceless God Temple people. Faceless men, sorry, and it makes her go to a play that pretty much mocks everything that happened back in season 1, where Ned Stark got killed off and how all those events happened, and she has to assassinate one of the ladies that are working in this play, and she seems like a very innocent woman. She hasn't done anything wrong, but then Arya has been told that she has to assassinate her pretty much, and she's really conflicted of whether to actually do it or not, and the mentor pretty much just says that you get no say in it, you have to kill her, and we need another face to be in the house. So and he actually says that either way there will be a new face in the house, so that would mean that if she doesn't actually kill her, that she may get killed off herself to be added into the collection of faces. So I'm hoping that she's not going to be killed off for if she doesn't want to do it, but I think she will still do it anyway, and I'm just not really sure how it's going to turn out. It's a interesting situation that she's been put into, because if she does kill her off, she could be morally damaged, I guess you could put it, but then also if she doesn't do it, she'll be most likely killed off or kicked out, probably to be killed off anyway. So I'm not really sure how this may turn out. And now on to Daenerys, and she in this scene finds out that Jorah has the grayscale, and that it's actually shows how much progress has happened with the grayscale taking over his body, and it's gone up to his elbow just about, and he pretty much banishes himself from her, and it's quite a sad scene because he actually confesses to her that he loves her, and it, from her expression, she almost looks as if she loves him as well, but then she doesn't actually say "I love you" to him as well. She just basically commands him to find a cure, try and get back. She wants him at her side when she takes over Westeros, and she just wants him to live pretty much. But just from their expressions, they both know that there's probably no hope of it happening, but there is a slight bit of hope that it may happen, but it's very, very, very small. Also, at the end of the scene, it shows her leaving Vastothrak and going out somewhere. Hopefully she's heading back to Meereen. This then goes on to a scene at Meereen, and it shows how Tyrion and Varys are trying to make more peace within the city, and in the end Tyrion says we need someone who isn't can't be influenced or corrupted or that would abuse their power, and in the end it pretty much has a reverse dialogue of what Varys said to Tyrion about going to Daenerys, is that Tyrion says that why can't it be a she, sort of, pretty much, and it ends up being another Red Priestess who also thinks that Daenerys is the chosen one, and it makes this religion seem very, like, not very accurate, because Melisandre is saying this for Jon Snow. She's also said it for Stannis, and now this other Red Priestess is saying it's happening with Daenerys. So it just seems extremely just not right, pretty much, that they would not just know a definite person who would be the chosen one, sort of thing. And she's actually very creepy, this priestess. She's starts saying things that no one knows, that only, like, Varys knows, that only Tyrion knows. Like, she talks about them Tyrion going through Volantis, and how all the events happened with Varys, and how he became a eunuch, and not really anyone knows about this, and there'll be no way that she would know about this unless she saw it in the fires that they all do. So yeah, she's really creepy, but then also extremely intriguing and mysterious, just like Melisandre is as well, because you just want to know, like, what she's up to, what she wants, because she just looks like she has another agenda on her hands to, like, maybe to take over, which I highly doubt, but she just seems very creepy. And now we move on to the Iron Islands, and they go on to how all the coronation stuff happens, and how they decide the next king for the Iron Islands. And it's between Theon's sister and Theon's uncle, who killed Balon Greyjoy in the last episode, and they're both pretty much just trying to convince the population that they're the best candidate. But in the end, Theon's uncle wins, and he takes over pretty much. And in the end, that all this happens, Theon and his sister have to flee from the Iron Islands because of how they just know that he's going to kill them off, pretty much. And in the end, he actually does try to chase them down and kill them, but they're already on boats because he was having his coronation, and his coronation was really different but pretty cool as well. Like, they basically drown him, but not to death, and then they say that the drowned god will make him stronger and better for the population to be a king and ruler. So yeah, that was really cool to watch. But then also Theon takes pretty much all the ships off him, well, all their best ones, so then they now have to make all these new ships, and it could end very, very badly for them because of that. They do get a head start, but then they're making their own ships, so they're going to probably be able to catch up and hopefully not kill him off, but then I grow too much attachment for every character in this series because I hope that they're going to survive. I hope that they're not going to get killed off because they all have really good plot lines, but then in the end, characters do have to die, pretty much. So, don't really know how this is going to end by the end of the season or series. They will probably get killed off and tracked down, so yeah, not really sure how this might go either. Also, just to point out, Theon's uncle does say that he wants to team up with Daenerys and take over all of Westeros and basically be her husband, and it just does not sound like something Daenerys would do. So I'm hoping so bad that this new king, which is basically a new player for the Game of Thrones, so I'm hoping that he will actually get to Daenerys, but she will kill him off because it'll be really satisfying. And now to pretty much the biggest part of this whole episode. This part is mostly all focused on Bran, and he does have two scenes throughout this whole episode. He has one that shows how that first White Walker was actually created, and it shows that the children put a dagger into a man and he just suddenly becomes a White Walker. I'm not really sure exactly what happens, like what they put into him. It looks like some sort of rock, so I'm not really sure what they did to him, but it looked really cool. And then the next scene also shows Bran sort of disobeying the three-eyed raven and going into a flashback himself, and he ends up being in front of an army of White Walkers and walks straight through them all fine, gets to the Night's King and the four horsemen, I guess you could probably call them, and you think that he's all fine, it's just a flashback, they can't see him, until White Walkers actually touches him and he gets out of it, but he still actually has a mark on his arm, and Three-Eyed Raven says that he's been marked and they can get into there now, they can kill everyone now, and literally 2 seconds later they're all outside the cave that they're staying in, and they're all running to get into there, and they're wanting to kill everything in view pretty much, and the children do defend them quite well. They have these really cool they just look like seeds or balls pretty much, and they throw them, and they have the best looking explosions I've seen in the show pretty much, other than the battle from season 2. That was a really great explosion, but these explosions look really cool as well. They use that to try and get the majority of the White Walkers away. They do get some, not all. It doesn't affect the Night's King horsemen at all, unfortunately. So they pretty much walk straight in, kill all the children except for one, the one that hangs around with Bran, and unfortunately I've forgotten the character of the girl that hangs around with him, but yeah, she does survive through this as well, and they're pretty much running for their lives to get out of the caves, and it's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and this bit gets really, really sad very quickly, because during this time the Three-Eyed Raven and Bran are actually in a flashback while they're running out of the caves. It's hard to explain, like he's getting dragged out by this girl while he's in a flashback, and it's showing him back at Winterfell again and how Hodor became Hodor, and it's really sad to watch because it's showing that he's saying hold the door. It's what the girl is saying to Hodor while they're running out of the network of caves, and he has to constantly hold this door to keep the White Walkers away from overwhelming them, and it shows how he kind of got it psychologically branded in his brain pretty much in the flashback, and it's really sad to watch because you see Hodor eventually get killed off, and Bran and the girl running for their lives out, and it's just those two that the only two survivors of this whole ordeal, because the last children does sacrifice herself to get as many White Walkers away as possible, and the Raven dies as well, and just about Bran loses everything. So hopefully they will survive the next episode. This is where the episode does finish, so don't know how it's going to end, but in the preview after the end of this episode, it does show them still on the run for their lives from the White Walkers, so we don't know how this may end. So yeah, it could be very bad. I've always been a Stark fan. I've always wanted them to get through, reunite again, and just take over Westeros pretty much. And that's all for this episode of Game of Thrones. It wasn't a lot of characters to get through, but a lot of content did happen in this episode. It was very slow to middle pace until it hit Bran's scenes. It really picked up after that, and it was a really great episode. It really put you on the edge of your seat for that scene with Bran. It was really great, and hopefully the momentum will keep going for the next few episodes. We're at the halfway point now, so hopefully it's just going to keep going uphill with the action, uphill with the just craziness of this show. That's why I love it so much. This was Rederawl, and if you liked the video, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. I will be doing more Game of Thrones reviews as episodes come out, and also I have been doing Let's Plays of PS4 games, and if you would like to watch those, I'll have a link up for one over up here. And at the moment I'm doing Ratchet and Clank and Doom. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time.